Hi, so astrology, right? I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And yes, we all know our natal chart. Yes, we all know our zodiac sign. And we know that, our lunar sign speaks more towards our emotions. And Venus talks about how we engage in relationships. And Jupiter talks about that time of not the year, but that time in our life when we're going to make that huge jump into a bigger reality and being more successful, blah, 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 right? But I don't think we talk enough about how the planets affect us in a massive way. Have you ever paid attention to how everyone's energy shifts throughout the year, right? And it's not just about the seasons. Like, sure, we tend to be happier in the summer just because we can go outside and not be secluded. But have you ever thought of the possibility that there is something else going on? Like, for example, did you know that there was a study made that recorded all 365 days throughout the year and evaluated when people are the saddest? And that somehow coordinates with the full moon in Cancer. So January's full moon, which is the full moon in Cancer typically, it's not only sad because we're in the middle of winter, and if you're in Chicago like it's like minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Or it feels like it. Or heart is just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be under my blanket, not talk, not move. But overall, our emotions spike, right? So, as I've said before, I always feel like there are trends within energy, right? And we are in this wave of emotions that magnify in conjunction with our society and global events. And that somehow aligns with the stars, whether you know it or not, or whether you want to pay attention or not. But if you do want to pay attention, and if you do want to take the proactive approach of understanding where things are at and where planets are at, you do have a better understanding of what to expect. So let's start with the sun. The sun moves throughout each one of the zodiac signs, and that actually marks the beginning of each zodiac sign season. For example, when the sun shifts into Aries at the end of March, that is Aries' birthday season, right? And it lasts through the middle of April. So if you look at, let me take a step back. Like if you look at the sun in your natal chart placement, it determines your personality. It's like the way you shine, but also those highlights of who you are. What makes you be you, your personality. But it's not so much how others perceive you, it's what you bring to the table, how you portray yourself. Because how others perceive you is actually your ascendant. So that gets a bit complicated. We're not going to go into that. We're just going to stay with the sun and the planets. So let's do that. So when the sun goes into Aries, that aligns with the spring season as well, right? The beginning of the spring. And it also tends to be this driven energy of like, I have no fear. I will achieve anything and everything I want. And I'm all set. The winter's over. I can just step into reality and make all my dreams happen. Just chase things. That is also this Mars energy standing behind you. And I know it gets a little complicated. I almost feel like there needs to be a diagram with like a little, let's put all the planets into this bucket of like what plays a role in this month, right? So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I tend to post things about the sun and the moon because the moon is also super important, right? They're polar opposites. And one of them is like, what do you want to project? And the other one's like, what is going on within you? But it's not just within you, it's like everyone else. And yes, you can also say, depending on your placement of the moon specifically in your natal chart, and then you overlay that with what's going on, but we're not going to go into that either. Let's take, for example, I already mentioned the whole full moon in Cancer and how that happens to be the most emotional one of the year. Yes, there are sad moments throughout the year marked by the moon and marked by where they're placed, but then there's also like super happy and exciting moments. I already mentioned sort of the impact of the sun in Aries, but the moon in Aries and the new moon in Aries has a similar effect. It's one of those moments when you want to take a step back and say, where am I at? Where are my emotions? What have I been doing that feels wrong? Cycles that repeat themselves that are just not getting me anywhere. How do I escape those cycles and how do I start fresh? The new moon in Aries is a perfect opportunity to do that. But you can't just say like, okay, starting today, I'm going to be a fresh new me. You somehow have to start, I guess I want to say intuitively, aligning days prior to that energy. Like let's say today, when I'm recording this, is February 28th. Today will be a perfect day to say, you know what, throughout March, I'm going to make it my goal to slowly detach from whatever it is that has been holding me back in the past. And let's just start over. let's just have a fresh new beginning where my emotions align exactly with my dreams, with my goals. And I'm not going to be compromising anything else. Whatever doesn't fit into that bucket of emotions that make me happy, I'm not going to give any space for it anymore. That's it. It's almost like one of those moons when you want to have a resolution rather than a manifestation. That is the way I look at it. But then I also look at that moon as okay, these are all my goals that I set for myself during the new moon in Sagittarius, which is the moon of expansion. And April, it's the beginning of the year for me. And this is when I start making sure that all those goals that I set for myself and all those manifestations that I wanted, start having an action plan. Or they at least it's like getting the momentum going, being proactive about them. You can't just have them sitting on a piece of paper. Let's say you set within your manifestations or your wish list, however you want to call it, something along the lines of, I want to be making 100K next year. And okay, so you have a job and this is your income. New moon in April comes around and you're like, okay, is that income that I have right now, is it really going to set me up? Or, and I know I'm talking about economics when I should be talking about feelings, but I'll get to that. Okay, hold on. So it's like, how much more do I need to make, right? So you make a plan around those things, around that specific amount of money and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do because this is what gives me joy, what makes me happy. And I'm just going to put it out in the universe that the universe is going to give me the medium through my passion, through my whatever makes me happy. I'm going to be achieving or like I'm going to be making this extra amount of money that I set myself for to add up to my total desire, the total 100K, for example. Now along the motions, let's say during the new moon in Sagittarius, you said, I want a new beginning with this one person. And let's say throughout the first months of 2022, that hasn't happened. Well, start walking away. Why not say, you know what? I've had enough and I'm going to start the spring with a fresh, open heart to receive whatever it is that wants to come. If it's that person, perfect. If it's somebody else, amazing. I'm open to whatever it is that the universe wants to give me. And if you say, or if you take that as your approach and you're doing this from I really genuinely believe this is what's going to happen and it is because I deserve this, then the universe will get the ball rolling. If you want to know more about the moon and the sun and how that impacts us in a global scale, like I said, I post about each one of those transits in my Instagram. So you get to see, what's going on and what the energies are about. I don't want to make this videos too long, so we're going to stop right here. And then I'm going to do a part 2 with the inner planets and a part 3 with the outer planets. In case you don't know, my name is Sharon. This is Daily Dose of Galaxy. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you for paying attention to my nonsense. Have a great day. Bye.